Hi everybody, it's Miss Elkins. I want to talk to you today about patterns and reciprocals. Just a quick lesson on reciprocals. The reciprocal of every fraction is just the fraction turned upside down. So a reciprocal is, for instance, a reciprocal of 2/3 is 3/2. So that's what a reciprocal is. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But first, we're gonna multiply column A and then column B, and then we'll observe the patterns and answer some questions about those. So, starting with column A, let's multiply 5 times 1/4. And you may remember from last week, when you're multiplying a whole number times a fraction, you have to make the whole number into a fraction by giving it a denominator of 1. That doesn't change the value of it, it just turns it into a fraction so that you can multiply numerator times numerator and denominator times denominator. 5 times 1 is 5. 1 times 4 is 4. That is an improper fraction, which we need to convert back to mixed number. 4 will go into 5 one time with 1/4 left over. Let's do the next question. I hope you're writing this down. This is important. If you're not writing it down, stop now. Go get some paper and a pencil and start writing all of this down. And rewind so that you can get the next problem. Okay, let's look at the next problem in column A. It's 5 times 2/3. Again, I'm giving 5 a denominator of 1. It doesn't change the value. It just gives me a fraction that I can multiply by fraction. Numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. 5 times 2 is 10. 1 times 3 is 3. That's improper. I'll make it a mixed number. 3 goes into 10 3 times with 1 left over. 3 1/3. Number 7. 5/1 times 5/8. Multiply 5 times 5, that's 25. Multiply 1 times 8, that's 8. That is improper. I'm going to move it back into a mixed number. 8 will go into 25 3 times with 1 8. The answer is 3 1/8. All right, now let's go to column B. Column B. Multiplying still. Everything's multiplied by 5, so I'll change this to an improper fraction by putting it over 1. Multiply numerator times numerator and denominator times denominator. 5 times 5 is 25. 1 times 4 is 4. 25 divided by 4. 4 will go into 25 6 times with 1/4 left over. 5/1 times 8/5. Multiply numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. 5 times 8 is 40. 1 times 5 is 5. 5 will go into 40 8 times evenly, so that simplifies into a whole number. And then the last problem in this column, 5/1 times 7/3. 5 times 7 is 35. 1 times 3 is 3. 3 will go into 35 11 times, and I'll have 2 left over. This is equal to 11 2/3. Now, let's answer some questions about these two columns. Before we answer the questions, let's look at the column A. What do you notice? Those are all fractions. The answers are all mixed numbers. Interesting. So what do you notice about the problems in column A? Here's what I wanted you to notice. All of the numbers in column A were a whole number multiplied times a proper fraction. So every single time in column A, we multiplied times a proper fraction. 1/4, 2/3, 5/8 are all proper fractions. I also hope you notice, maybe this is important, maybe not, but all the answers were mixed numbers. Okay, and what really should have stood out to you is all of the answers. 1 and 1/4, 3 and 1/3, 3 and 1/8. All the answers were less than 5. All the answers were less than 5 because we multiplied by a proper fraction. Okay, let's look at column B. Oh, look at this. These are all improper fractions. So every single time we multiplied a whole number times an improper fraction. If you watched the other video, you know why that's important. Okay, what about the answers? Most of the answers were mixed numbers. But one was a whole number, right? And then finally, if you'll notice, the answers were 6 and 1/4, 8, 11 and 2/3. All the answers were greater than 5. Okay. All right, let's go back up to column C and see what happens there. Here in column C, we're multiplying a fraction by its reciprocal. In other words, the fraction is flipped upside down and multiplied by itself. If you multiply numerator times numerator and denominator times denominator, 3 times 4 is 12, 4 times 3 is also 12, and 12 divided by 12 is 1. Same thing on number 6. 4/5 times its reciprocal, 5/4. 4 times 5 is 20. 5 times 4 is also 20, and 20 divided by 20 is 1. Number 9, 1 times 6 is 6. 6 times 1 is also 6, and 6 divided by 6 is 1. We multiplied all of them times their reciprocal. The number flipped upside down is the reciprocal. So here's what you should notice about that. When you multiply a number by its reciprocal, the product is 1. Every time. Interesting, right? Okay, well, so I'm going to have turned this paper over. There's another page of notes here. Sorry, there's a lot of notes. Let's talk about reciprocals. Reciprocal is the fraction turned upside down. So the fraction of 3/5 is 5/3. They're not equal, sorry. That's just its reciprocal. 5/3 does not equal 3/5. A fraction multiplied by its reciprocal always has a product of 1. And the reciprocal is also called the multiplicative inverse. So the multiplicative inverse is the same thing as the reciprocal. 5/8 times 8/5 equals 1. 9/7 times 7/9 equals 1. 2/11 times 11/2 also equals 1. Anytime you multiply a number by its reciprocal, you get an answer of 1. Okay? So we're going to determine the reciprocal of these 6 numbers. The reciprocal of 1/4, 4/1. The reciprocal of 13/6, 6/13. The reciprocal of 8/3 is 3/8. The reciprocal of 9/3 is 3/9. The reciprocal of 7, remember every whole number has an invisible denominator of 1, so the reciprocal of 7 is 1/7. The reciprocal of 8 is 1/8. Okay? What we've discovered is that if you multiply a whole number, or any number, times a proper fraction, you will cause it to be less. If you multiply a number times an improper fraction, you will cause it to be an increase. A proper fraction is less than 1. An improper fraction is greater than 1. So, if each of the numbers is multiplied by 3, then determine if the product is greater than or less than 3. 4/3 times 3 would make it greater, because 4/3 is greater than 1. 2/1 would also cause it to be greater, because 2/1 is an improper fraction. It's greater than 1. 6/5 would also cause an increase, or for it to be greater, because it's greater than 1. 1/2 would cause a decrease, because 1/2 is less than 1. That makes sense. Alright, number 17, circle the following rational numbers that you could multiply by 2 and result in a number greater than 2. Well, this is a proper fraction, this is a proper fraction, so that's going to cause a decrease. So I'm only going to circle the improper fractions. So you guys should be writing this down, because you can also fill in the digital notes that I put into Google for you. I'm sorry, into Schoology. Okay, number 18. Which of the statements below describes 8 times 3/4? So if I multiply 8 times 3/4, what will the answer be? 8 times 3 is 24. 1 times 4 is 4. 24 divided by 4 is 6. A, is the solution greater than 8? No. C, is the solution between 4 and 5? No. Is the solution less than 3/4? No. The solution is between 5 and 7. So anytime you multiply by a proper fraction, you're going to cause a decrease, or a decrease, however you say it. Alright, so summary of today's lesson. I definitely want you to write this down or type it at the bottom of your notes. So write it down and then type it into your notes so you'll really remember it. Okay, so the summary of today's lesson is multiplying a number by a proper fraction, that means the numerator is less than the denominator, is a decrease, or causes a decrease. Alright, that's one thing. Multiplying a number by an improper fraction causes an increase. I should have put the word fraction here. I just realized that. Okay, a proper fraction causes a decrease. Also, multiplying a number by its reciprocal multiplying a fraction by its reciprocal will always equal a product of 1. That's going to be very helpful when you get into algebra. Alright, if you have any questions, shoot me an email. If you'd like to set up a personal Google Meet, just let me know. We'll set up a time someday between 2 and 4. I can meet with you privately or on Google Chrome, and you can ask me all the questions you want. I hope you're having a good day. I hope I'll see you soon.